Next is St. Gracious Secondary School from Lira. They have everything set there. St. Gracious keep moving majestically. As St. Gracious comes, we are going to have Iganga SS. So Iganga SS, be prepared. St. Gracious, I hand over the microphone to you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Opie Emmanuel Nicholas, and I'm going to introduce to you my team. Next to me, on the left, I have Elvis Oko. Then on my right, I have Owel Joshua, followed by Linda Akelo, and then at the back, she has Kisarot Agatha. So here we are giving our presentation.
Agriculture is the backbone of Uganda. And any problem the agriculture sector faces, the economy of Uganda is affected. So today, we have brought a project that will help solve the problem the agriculture sector is facing today. From a research we carried out, Sengenta talks about how farmers in Uganda today have to cope with climate change, soil erosion, biodiversities. Farmers have to satisfy consumers' changing tastes and expectations. So our project, we are trying to help farmers, to help them solve some of the problems faced by consumers today. Farmers today have to try to meet the rising demand for more and high quality products and food. So today, our project, we are trying to help farmers produce more crops and produce more high-quality products. And farmers today have to invest in food productivity. They have to adopt and learn how to use technology today to ease in their work in farming. And farmers today have to stay resilient against global economic factors. And today, according to research we carried out, 12% of the world land is cultivatable, but the plants that are grown use 70% of fresh water is used for farming. So in our project, we are trying to make the farmers utilize more water for more production of crops. The agriculture and the forestry causes 23% of house gas emissions. Statistics from UBOS shows that in the last 10 years, the availability of land for family use has reduced by over 70%, posing a threat to the sustainable development goals of life on land. So we are trying to help solve such problems because most of the land in Uganda nowadays are fragmented because people have to create more land for the increased families. Families keep expanding every day, so they have to keep building houses, and they have less land for farming. So we are trying to create a project that even with the little land they have left, they can be able to grow crops and keep the family healthy. And then, according to research by World Food Program, most of the African farmers spend more time in the garden other than development projects. So we are trying to create a way in which farmers will have time, even when you're at your workplace, you will have time to monitor your garden. So my friend here will provide the solutions.
In order to tackle all these problems, we need to have a cutting-edge technology that shifts the burden of monitoring the plants from the farmer to a more accurate system. We need to ensure that we multitask the land that is available to ensure we have maximum output in the little land. We need to apply the technology to ensure that the hectic work is lifted from the farmer to the system. And then we need to ensure that we ensure domestic farming and more accurate systems of farming, and we need to also create a cutting-edge technology that is easy to use and also helps in handling all these problems. And therefore, we need to ensure that the systems enable the farmers to satisfy the changing taste and expectations. We need to ensure that the system enables the farmer to meet the rising demands of more high-quality food. We need to ensure that the farmers can utilize the little land they have. It does not require you to have a big farm outside. It doesn't require you to have acres of land. You can just do it in your backyard. You can do it at your rooftop. It can just be a small extension of your home. We need to ensure that anyone can afford this. You don't need to have millions of dollars to have this thing working. And then we also need to ensure that the 12% of the land that is cultivatable is used to the maximum. We need to ensure that instead of growing instead of expanding horizontal, we need to make sure that we can utilize the available land in ensuring that we have better yields. That's why we are saying we are integrating fish farming, which is aquaculture, and then we are integrating crop growing, which is in water, that is hydroponics, into one system, which is aquaponics. And then we are trying to make this system automated so that the farmer doesn't have to be involved in each and every step and can monitor all this remotely and have better yields. That is why we have come up with a solution, and all these solutions are there in our system, which is the Smart Green Farm system.
Thank you very much. I'm going to take you through the benefits. One of the benefits is our system is automatic. As we see from there, we have the project is automated in that we have the automatic fish feeder and also the moisture sensor, the water indicator, and then the next we have the next benefit is that our system is independent. In aquaponics, we know we grow crops and fish. So the plants benefits from the nitrogenous waste from the fish, in that the water from the fish pond is taken to the farm to be used by the plants. The next one is conserves water. We know the fish pond, the water from the fish pond is taken to the farm to be used for plant growth, hence conserving water. And then the next is less power consuming, in that the system will not consume power when you have not instructed it to do so. And then we have it's economical, practical, and inexpensive, and then less affected by pests. It ensures proper utilization of available resources. It tackles developmental goals 1 and 2, in that the first sustainable development goal is that there is no poverty, in that a farmer will harvest the crops and also the fish, and then goes and sell it, and then have the money, and also zero hunger, in that you will harvest it and use it for food. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Joshua Emmanuel, and I'm in Form 5 Science 2. I'm doing PEM. I want to take you through the process of marketing. As you can see from our screen, we have the cost. We have the cost for the solar system and the cost for the electricity system, whereby it can favor someone who is down in the village there and someone who is in the urban area. Our system is really flexible. It depends on the area that the person is and depends on the source of power that the person would like to use. And from here, we were trying to run just a simple project on our school, because we had requested the school to help us do this practically at our school. And here was the budget of what we had. And after that, it totaled up to the price of, for the electricity, we are having a total of 7,400,050. And then on the other side, we are having the cost for the solar, as you can see it from there. And we tried to carry out our analysis after the period of 6 months. What would we be having as our profit? And they are summarized down there. Thank you.
Let me take you through how it works, and then we shall go and see the demo. First of all, we are having 3 systems in our system. We are having plants, and then we are having aquaponics, which is going to be having crops grown on top and then fish underneath. So first of all, we are having moisture sensors installed in the soil. because as we know, in Uganda, we are just growing in agriculture, and then we can't highly develop everything. So we are trying to combine rearing of fish plus growing crops. So because we know crops also grow on top of water, so we are using it as an advantage, because as we see nowadays, people are rearing fish and they're growing in large numbers. So we are going to grow crops on top of water, which is aquaculture. And then the next thing also, we are having an extension of a garden that is having soil. Then in this soil, we shall be having moisture sensors that shall be in charge of supplying water to the garden only if it is necessary, when it is a sense that there is shortage of water in the soil. Secondly, the tank also, we are having our water level indicators and water level sensors, because when the sensor it indicates that there is low water in the tank, it will also pump automatically, and then the water will be drawn from, like example, as we have included the pump from underground, we shall be having solar pumps and other pumps. Then nextly, we shall be including IoT, where all this data can be sent to your farm as a farmer, and then you can also receive all the statistics. For the future prospects, we're having nutrient analyzers using telematics, and then pest detection, then oxygen sensors to analyze if there's any shortage in the oxygen. So thank you. I welcome the question. Or we go on first. I welcome the judges to come and see the demo, then we shall welcome the questions.
In an system where there is only fish, the water has to be expelled after some time. That is already wasting water. And in hydroponics, there reaches a point where the plants have already consumed the nutrients in the water, and the water has to be expelled and changed. But here, the plants clean the water for the fish. Therefore, they all benefit. It's like symbiosis in them, because the fish excrete the nitrogenous waste, then the plants absorb it again, and the water is already clean for the fish again, so the fish can continue living in. Then the other plants that are here, water is pumped from here as long as it's needed, because we have a soil moisture sensor that detects whether the water is needed for the plants here, and automatically draws it from the fish pond there. Water is drawn there. That water is nitrogen rich, since the fish excrete nitrogen rich. The excreta has a lot of nitrogen, so it's taken and sprayed on the plants here. And when the water level in the fish pond drops, automatically water is drawn from here into the system, and therefore you are alerted using this. You are alerted to your phone. It doesn't have to be a smartphone. Even these button phones, you can use SMS. You just text state, then you get all these details. You can get the amount of water that is there, have the fish eaten. You can know the amount of water in your soil and the pump status. You can know, and we also plan to integrate the system that tells you whether there is going to be a possible failure in the system. And here we also have an intrusion detection system, where in case someone comes here, it makes that alarm sound. And in a practical situation where we are having a large piece of land, we can have multiple sensors and all those buzzers that can also act as pest control when the birds come in. Because you know, in some like rice garden where the birds are there, locally we use sound, we beat in jerry cans to create that sound. But here we have this buzzer system, where if it detects the birds, it makes the sound and the birds go away. And we have the automatic fish feeder.
Generally, this flows in if you will know, in biology it says a nitrogen cycle, where the fish feeder feeds the fish, then later on the fish feed on this and digest on it, but they excrete their waste full of ammonia. Then inside the pond, we all know bacteria is everywhere, so the bacteria will be in charge of breaking down the ammonia into nitrate, which will later be supplied to the crops. And you know, as crops, we're using a basic of natural fertilizers, because as we have seen, the effects of artificial fertilizers are growing day by day. But in this farm, we shall be having natural fertilizer, and the soil shall be sterilized, that we shall not be having weeds.
Thanks so much, the team from St. Gracious, for your presentation. I have one or two questions. The first one is, I would like to understand how you sized your setup. So are you, and again, this also boils over into your marketing strategy. So when you say the system is going to cost me 5 million, what do I get? You can give me a simple number like, okay, if it's working well, I can feed a family of 3 people for half a day or 3 days or a week. Do you mind answering that?
Thank you very much for that question. When the data we gave there about the marketing strategy is an example for what we used for the school. We're using a 20 by 20 piece of land, growing the vegetables in a space of 15 by 15, and having a pond that is around 16.1 cubic meters that can contain about 4,050 fish when you're stocking it. And in that, you get a turnover from the crops like within the 6 months, because we know that the hybrid tilapia require about 6 months to grow. And then for the vegetables, if you're using like skuma week, it takes about 2 months. That means you will have to plant like 3 times before the fish can come out. So we've calculated all that together. In a space of about 1 acre, you can get about 24 tons of the vegetable, but then we have scaled it down to a system which we are growing it in a space of 15 by 15, which is in a scale of 1 to 0.005, which scales it down to about 1.023 tons. And we have also calculated the possible losses due to the feeding on by the farmer, because the farmer can also be feeding on those things. Will eat up. We have put possible losses and feeding on by the farmer to reduce it to about 1.1 ton. And if you sell this, and in about 6 months, from the vegetables, you'll be getting around 4 million in that space. But then we can scale this down to whatever size you want, because it depends on the size of the fish farm, the material you're going to use, and how large the piece of land is. Because someone can even do this in their living room, can just have a small section of their living room, have the fish there, and then something, and the plants growing on top. And also someone would want it big. So it depends on the size, and that would also mean the equipments we're using. So all that can be reduced. The values you saw there was for a 20 by 20, and the person gets around a profit of around 29 million after 6 months from the fish and this one. That is for the first installment.
All right, thank you. One other very quick one. Thanks for the answer. One other very quick one. Regarding the automation that you have done, it was a little bit difficult to separate out what you have done and what is prospective. So could you help us paint a picture, the prototype as you have it right now, how much automation is at work versus what you're going to do as follow-up to this?
Okay, according to the percentage of the automation we have at work, we are at a percentage of 80%, because what you really have inside our farm, everything is working in perfect condition. The only thing we are looking at is at the future prospects where, for example, when the fish is inside the tank, we know the increase in the number of fish will also lead to the decrease in oxygen. So we are trying to improvise like oxygen sensors that will add more oxygen to the soil. Then, for example, we can't control other failures in the system. For example, it is automated, and then the farmer might be in the office. You might send your message, then the farm tells you there's this and this and this, but won't be able to tell you what the problem is. So in that way, we are looking at installing like a detection system that will tell you any system failure and send you the message telling you that, please, sir, you're having a system failure in your garden.
Sure. And just to embark on that, onto our system, the way we have set it, we have placed our tank, and the pipe that is bringing water from the tank into our fish pond, we have raised it a little bit higher, such that when the water from the tank is flowing inside the water, it creates bubbles. And we all know that when those bubbles are being created, they add on the oxygen concentration in the water.
Sure. I think our time is out. Just thought points for you. One, the audience would want to know which farmers are you targeting in this case? And then also two, briefly, you may not answer this, just thought points for you. Then two, we are working with illiterate farmers. Any plans for you to at least build their capacity around managing and of course controlling this farm? Just think about those. Don't answer them for now, but thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Wonderful. These children are going to make us enjoy agriculture. Yes, I can see you smiling. So we are going back to the farm where you just use your remote, control the temperature, and then go into hydroponics, agroponics, all that.